Good morning. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing out there today? Listen, I'm at one of the properties waiting on a client to come, and I thought I would go live to give y'all some information about the eviction process. I have found a YouTuber that is a process server, and I'm going to be putting his link in some information here. But I think y'all should check out his page. It's very interesting because it lets people know the process of eviction once the people come there to set your items out of the home. So I thought, well, you know what? Let me just go live and give some people some information on this. I deal with a lot of investors. I work with a lot of investors who have properties and do property management and stuff. And I wanted to share this some tip information with you guys who are out there possibly facing eviction. The problem is, one, eviction is only going to come if you don't pay your rent. Now, that's just common. That's just a given. You will not have to worry about the eviction process or being served an eviction notice if you pay your rent, okay? So if you pay your rent, you're fine. But if you get in a situation where you're not able to pay your rent, the best thing to do is to contact your landlord first. Now, I'm saying this because I just had to serve an eviction notice to one of my tenants' property today. Not my tenant, my investor's tenant, okay? I had to serve an eviction notice to him. Hey, AT2, how you doing? So it's not a good feeling for us who help these business owners and these investors manage their property. It's not good for us to have to serve an eviction notice to anyone, but it's part of the job. But if you guys would do this, if you get in a problem where you can't pay your rent, the best thing to do is to call your landlord. That's the best thing. The worst thing to do is to not call your landlord. So here's the problem that I'm having with the person that I served today a notice. I've been calling this tenant, letting them know, hey, we haven't gotten your rent, texting, they're texting me, I'll call you back, I'm at work, I'll contact you later, not, calling me, but sending me a text message, letting me know they're gonna, call me back and never call. So what I have to do, I have to serve a notice. And I did. I went ahead and I served a notice on the door to let them know, yes, the file is now with the lawyer's office. And once it goes to the lawyer's office, it's really almost hard to stop it at that point. So you want to make sure that you keep in contact with your lawyer before it goes to the lawyer's office. That's why it's very important to keep communication open with your landlord. Don't try and duck and dodge and think, okay, I got away with one day, I'm going to get away with another day. Eviction eventually will come. There's no real hiding from it. You may try and delay it by not speaking with them, but the more you don't speak with them, actually the faster the process will probably be, because the landlord, if they're experienced and have gone through this, like we have, they're not going to really wait around to see what's going on. But if you call them, they would probably work with you. Yeah, AT2, they didn't apply for the rental forgiveness. Listen, we don't know because there is not someone calling us back. So we don't know. We don't know if they apply for rental assistance. And I do know that if they did apply for rental assistance, then, they would have contacted us to let us know they applied for the rental assistance. Because like AT2 is saying in the chat, there are programs out there that can help you if you are past due on your rent. Government programs that are there that will help you. Hey, Clovis, call Trevor. He said he's at homework. Call Trevor. He's at homework and said somebody is there. All right, sorry to hit my husband. Yes. All right. So here's the thing. Hey, Tammy, how you doing? Tammy, we don't like to have to do this. We don't like to have to, throw people out of homes. That's not what we want to do. As investors and property managers, we want to get people into homes, not throw them out. So we do our best to try and keep the communication open. But if tenants don't apply for assistance, or hey, get this AT2, they probably applied for assistance but was denied. We'll talk about that also, maybe a little bit later. But there are programs where they can apply for rental assistance and still be denied, because remember, a lot of these rental assistance programs are government-backed programs where the money is going to. So they're going to do an extensive search and background on you. So here's a tip. Let me just tell y'all some of this that I've noticed, okay? The one person that I had to serve an eviction notice to today, they text me back, I'm at work. I think about that for a minute. You haven't paid your rent, but you're at work. So you didn't say, I'm out looking for a job. You didn't say, I was laid off. You said, I'm at work. So somebody who actually has a job cannot be approved for rental assistance if they make enough money to pay their rent. Okay, so everybody who applies won't be approved. And sometimes some of these people, what they do is they spend more on expenses. I've driven into homes to file an eviction or serve an eviction, and there's a brand new car in the driveway. Brand new car. I drove to a property one time, there were 2 brand new cars, and these people hadn't paid their rent in a year. Yes, a year. This was during the pandemic, okay? But they had 2 brand new cars. So this is going on out here, and people are, I would have to say, some people are legitimately taking advantage of not paying their rent. Hey, Andrea, how you doing? How you doing? Good morning. AT2 asks, does eviction stay on your record? It does. It stays on your record if there's a judgment that is filed in a court. That eviction will stay on your record as a judgment. It is recorded with the local courts, and it is going to be on your record. So if you try to purchase a home and try to get financing, it will show as a judgment, and they will require that you pay that debt before you could purchase a property. There's some states and stuff, they will require that you pay that. So that's why you want to make sure that you contact your landlord and have communication with them, because you want to get a workout agreement with your landlord before it goes to the lawyer's office and then goes to court. So you want to keep that communication open. It is a hefty lien on your credit. And another thing that it does, AT2, is it really is going to show up in the database when you go to apply for another rental property. When you say, well, I'm going to move out of here and I'm going to apply for another property, landlords are now doing full background checks. And get this, evictions are part of that background check. So they will see if you had an eviction, and those evictions can go back to years. That record will still be on there. And it will say how much you still owe that other person. And also, it will also say how many times an eviction has been filed on you. The system that the corporation that I work with and the investor that I work with has that on there, and it will tell us how many evictions have been filed. Now, the tenant may say, well, I worked it out, I paid them, so that eviction should not be on there. Here's the thing, you paid it late because you waited until it went to court. Again, this is why you want to keep the communication open with your landlord, because once it's filed in court, it becomes public record. And it becomes I call it a lien against your name, but it becomes a debt, we'll say, on your name, okay? It's on there. 82 says, so it doesn't erase after 7 years. I really think it depends on the county and the state that you're in. And even if they do erase after 7 years, which I'm not saying they do, Georgia, I'm in Georgia, I don't recall them erasing after 7 years. But here's the thing, you still have to make sure that you pay your rent during those 7 years. Okay? So regardless of how long it's going to be on there, it's a bad debt that's on your credit. Hey, Jennifer, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning, Light of the Leo. So how can you avoid an eviction? Do this. The moment you feel that you're not going to be able to pay your rent, contact your landlord. Have a communication with them. And another thing, you don't want to not pay your rent And then when your landlord asks you for the money, or when your landlord starts serving the eviction, or when the lawyer's office sends you the notice that you're being evicted, you don't want to start saying, well, this is broken in my house and that's broken in my house and you need to fix this and you need to fix that. Certain states will not let that be upheld in court. They will not allow that to be upheld in court, okay? Hey, good morning, Benji. How you doing? Good morning, Benji. So AT2 says, oh, okay, I thought it was the same like a credit card. It's possible, you know, it is a debt. It's still a debt that's owed. But the thing is, a eviction debt has a heavier and heftier impact than a credit card debt. Because again, this is a big property, a big financial responsibility. So it's not going to be looked at by landlords like some credit card debt. Joseph, good morning, Joseph. How are you doing today? So good to see you, Joseph. So here's the thing, AT2. Landlords, like myself and other landlords, normally what they would do is they determine what is going to be the qualifications that they're going to require for the properties that they're renting. So I said that to say this: every landlord is probably going to have a different qualification process than the other landlords. So each one may have their own different stances of how they qualify their tenants. Here's the thing, what we do in our office, and my husband is also a real estate broker, which is a separate firm from the company that I work for. I work for private investors, and my husband is a licensed real estate broker. So his process is actually different from the process that we do with our tenants. Okay, we're a little more lenient, okay? So his process might be a little tougher for the properties that he's renting for his investors, okay? So here's the thing, I may look at a tenant who's applying for a property that we have for rent. And if they have credit card debt and credit card delinquencies, but there's no eviction on their record, I'll probably go ahead and rent to them. Why? Because they're letting me know that they're responsible enough to pay their rent even when they can't pay their credit card. Okay? Now, if I get a tenant who applies for one of my properties, but they have zero credit card debt, they're paying their credit cards on time, they're paying their car on time, but they have an eviction, I usually won't rent to them. Because again, they're not taking the biggest debt and the most important debt and paying for it. They're not doing that. So I look at it that way. My thing and philosophy is you need to make sure that you have a roof over your head more important than the credit cards that you pay. That's just my own philosophy to that. So when I look at these lease applications, I'm looking at things a little different. Now, some other people, they want everything paid on time. There are some landlords, they won't even look at your credit. If your credit score is not up to par, you're gonna get an automatic decline from some of these people. So it really depends. Hey, Joseph. Joseph says, if you know you're going to be evicted, design your exit strategy to mitigate the loss. I wish tenants would do that. I really, Joseph, wish they would do that, because that would make the process so much easier for both sides. It would make it easier for the tenant, and it would make it easier for the landlord. But tenants, what they do, some tenants, not all of them, some tenants just wait until the very last minute, because let me tell you, and some of these tenants, they are hip to the game, and it's actually what they do. They go from one house to the next doing the same thing. So it's different. So Joseph says, your credit report reveals what your priorities are. Come on, Joseph. And when things are, hold on. Hey, Beatrice. I'll call you back. Appreciate it. It's my security guy. That's another thing. When you go to evict tenants, if you're out here as a landlord or a real estate agent and you're going to be doing this eviction process, you want to make sure and get you a security team, okay? So I have a security team, and that was him calling. But let's get back to this. So your credit report reveals what your priorities are and when they are rough. Yep. Evictions significant or signify your value, faking it until you make it. Yeah. CCC debt indicates your value maintaining your home. Again, Joseph, if people thought like you, they would not be evicted. And we understand that people go through processes of where they get themselves into a financial debt. I understand that. But you have to, again, communicate with your landlord. Keep the communication open, because maybe your landlord may be aware of some government programs that could assist you, and he or she would probably give you that information to help you to avoid eviction. Landlords have a vast and valuable information if you just reach out and communicate with them. Or what some landlords may do, even like I have done for my investors, we have even worked out deals for tenants to maybe get on a separate payment plan to catch up the balances that they were behind on. So, as long as you keep the communication open and you're nice about it, because one thing I don't tolerate is the meanness, the nastiness, and the ugly. The moment you do that, it's an automatic lawyer's office. And I cut off communication. I cut off communication with you. And now the communication going forward will have to be dealt with the lawyer. So you want to be nice with your landlords when doing these communications with them. Okay, remember this: whatever financial situation you got into that caused you to now become where you're not able to pay your rent, it may not have been your landlord's fault. And why I say it may not have been is because there are some situations where tenants have had to financially come out their pocket to do some things or repairs on properties that the landlord did not take care of. And again, before you get into making repairs on a property that you don't own, you need to know the laws about that too. Talk to your landlord, give your landlord enough time to get those items done before you start making repairs on their property, because sometimes a court would not order that landlord to pay you back. So be very careful with that. AT2 says, what about foreclosures? Listen, same process I see with foreclosures, that you need to have a communication with your mortgage company. Have communication with your mortgage company. Come in and let them know that you are having a financial difficulty so that you would be able to work out something with them. Mortgage companies also have access to things that may be able to help you with the process of getting back on track, okay? So you want to talk to them. Let me get this last comment, and then I have somebody that just walked in, and I'm going to come back and do a part 2 to this particular video because we really didn't get into the meat of what I wanted to talk to. But let me get this comment from Joseph. He says foreclosure is connected with a mortgage. That's correct, Joseph. Not renting. Same thing, communication with the bank, absolutely, which I just specified. He says they can put your late payments on the back of your loan in some cases, correct. Forbearance, absolutely. See, Joseph, you and I, we know, Joseph, we just need to do a financial video for the people together, okay? But he's absolutely right. Talk to your mortgage companies, find out what they can do and what assistance they can offer, or what assistance programs that they have that will be able to help you with the process. But the main thing, as far as if you want to avoid eviction, the best thing for you to do is have a good, nice, open communication with your landlord. Start there. If you're not able to have a good communication with your landlord, then once you get the letter that you probably will be getting from that lawyer's office that says an eviction has been filed, you want to go ahead and call that lawyer's office. Have a communication with that lawyer, okay? The main thing is keep the communication open, and you'll probably be able to work out something. But no communication means a court is going to make the decisions for you. I'll be back with my next video. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see y'all later.